watching cave diving and spelunking videos. I couldn't look away from what I was seeing. Okay, so these guys, they see the cave is flooding, and they decide to go deeper into it. So this here is cave diving, where people, they dive underwater, but they also go into a cave. It's a groundbreaking word, I know. Then this is spelunking, where people spelunk. People go into a cave, but it's not underwater. Though oftentimes these people will walk through a cave that is actively filling with water, they're doing things that are just so risky. It's almost like they think they're gonna respawn if something goes wrong, right? Like, the level of nonchalant these people have is wild. This is the type of question where somebody would say, hey, would you do this for $100,000? And you have to sit there, right? You have to sit there and you have to think, would I do that? Is the risk worth it? But these people aren't doing it for $100,000. They are just doing it to do it. That is the reward. The reward is getting out alive. Okay, this guy, the space that he's in is so tight that you can't even see the space he occupies. You just see him and stuff around him. You can't even see a single gap. Some of the spaces I see these people crawling through are so tiny, it probably makes your face mites claustrophobic. Yeah, fun fact, it turns out we all have mites on our face, so that's nice.
I'm going into this hole that's so tight, I had to take my helmet off. Really sharp too.
This is the kind of stuff you have to resort to these days when everything is already charted. You can't just say, oh, I wonder what's on the other side of the ocean. That problem got solved a few hundred years ago. Things are charted. So now you gotta resort to going down into the earth or leaving the earth and going into space. I'm convinced that if humanity does actually develop like Ant-Man technology where we can shrink down super tiny to go into stuff, it's gonna be these people who make it. The year is 2066. You're gonna see a YouTube recommended video that says, we're going spelunking in this famous person's pores. Let's see what we find. Let's just make a list of things that could happen, things that could go wrong if you willingly participate in this hobby. Okay, number 1, you could encounter dead air. Air that is not breathable. It's like carbon monoxide, so you don't even realize that the air isn't viable, and then you just keep breathing it in until, you know? Number 2, the cave could fill with water. Number 3, your socks could get wet because the cave filled with water, which is honestly maybe the worst outcome here. Number 4, you could run out of air because the cave filled with water. Number 5, spiders. Number 6, the area could collapse either on you or blocking you into where you're at. Number 7, you could fall. There are giant drops in these caves. You could fall into one. Number 8, you could get stuck between things. Number 9, you could get lost. The scariest cave diving experience I ever had in my life was when I found a big ravine in Minecraft with keep inventory on in peaceful mode, and I heard that cave sound file. With that being said, let's talk about our friends over at ProtonVPN. See, having a VPN these days feels more important than ever, as there are trackers everywhere online, websites are harvesting your data, and we're seeing a push around the world to decrease online anonymity. But a VPN serves as an online shield. You select a server, connect to it, and boom, your IP address is hidden and you're given privacy. But ProtonVPN is my go-to, because they go above and beyond, especially with their commitment to privacy and transparency. See, ProtonVPN is entirely open source, meaning its code is publicly available for anyone to take a look at. So you can see everything, including the fact that your logs are not being saved, as they are committed to their strict no logs policy. Also, they have 16,000 servers in over 110 countries, and are incredibly fast as they give you connection speeds up to 10 gigabits per second with their VPN accelerator, boosting speeds up to 400%. One of the main things I use ProtonVPN for is streaming. It works well with all the major streaming services and global TV channels. You know, so I can access shows and movies not available in my country because each country has their own content catalog. But my favorite thing about streaming with Proton is that they have custom profiles you can set up. So I have consistent connection settings to switch between. And with a subscription to ProtonVPN, you actually get access to their entire suite of other products. If you click my link in the description, there is an exclusive extended Black Friday deal just through my link that gives you 75% off ProtonVPN for 2 years, which works out to just $2.49 a month. So if you're interested in that, go to protonvpn.com/Savantics to check it out. Thank you, ProtonVPN, for sponsoring this video. Now let's get back into it. We gotta mention the names of these caves, or the names of the cave sections or features. Okay, I've made a list of caves with names I find a little bit interesting in the USA. On Your Knees Cave, Devil's Den Cave, Moaning Cavern, Goochland, Goochland Cave, Big Bone Cave, Devil's Hole, Nutty Putty Cave. Okay, Carlsbad Caverns has crazy sections, okay? You got the baby hippo and 3 little monkeys in here alongside the Devil's Den. The people who are naming these, brilliant. It's an art. There's a theme here. Either they're just feeling a little silly, they're down bad for the caves, or they are describing the caves as the most treacherous destruction machines. And the thing is, with social media, there are a lot of people who do cave diving or caving. It's getting a lot of engagement. I mean, this content is very interesting to watch. There's novelty because we're never gonna do this hobby. It's new to us. But 2, it's also absurd to us. Like, oh my god, can you believe this person's actually doing it? So you now have people who are rewarded for being reckless, because the more reckless the content is, the trickier of a situation they encounter, content-wise, it makes a video that more people are gonna want to click on. So it's pretty messed up that the algorithm is rewarding when things go wrong. And I feel like for some of these people, the idea of perishing, ceasing to exist, probably feels like something that happens to other people, but not them. I think if you keep putting yourself in these situations, it looks like nobody's making it out of, and you keep coming out fine, it probably does desensitize you, right? Like, it probably lowers your understanding of risk. And on all of these cave diving videos, they all have the same comment sections too. Like, if you click on video A, it's gonna have the same comment section as video Z. Most popular comment is, one of the best things about cave diving is that you don't have to do it, which is true. It's like, it's completely optional to put yourself in this situation. But another one I see is that being poor and lazy has saved me from a dumb demise. That's another thing to this, right? Is that these situations are so avoidable. Not only is it completely optional to take on that much risk, but also it is expensive to go travel out to these caves. It is expensive to get a lot of equipment. This is completely optional, but it's not just optional, it's also, there's a lot of setup and preparation to get from sitting on your couch to walking through a flooding cave. And while this looks terrifying, cave diving is a whole nother thing, because not only are you in a tight, confined space, you're in one where it's just water all around you. So you need equipment in order to be able to breathe. And the thing about that equipment is you're not just breathing oxygen, you have to breathe in a mixture of gases, because if you don't, things are gonna go pretty wrong. See, I found out with cave diving, you gotta do some alchemy. You have to be a genius, high IQ chemist. You're solving complex equations, trying to make sure the gas mixture in your tank is just right so you don't encounter problems down there. So in your tank, you have nitrogen and you have oxygen. Apparently, when you are down underwater super deep, you can't just breathe in just raw oxygen in your tank. If you breathe in too much oxygen, you can get oxygen toxicity. And if you breathe in too much nitrogen, you can get nitrogen narcosis. Let's talk like a doctor here for a second, okay? Let's talk like a medical professional. Oxygen toxicity is gonna do that typical thing most fatal things do, right? Like if you search up symptoms of excess whatever, it always says stuff like seizing, vision loss, perishing, that. And nitrogen narcosis produces very similar effects to basically being intoxicated. So your judgment is impaired, your reflexes are slower. There's a high level of precision needed here. It's dark and you're relying on your light to see, you're relying on the water staying clear to see, you need your breathing equipment to breathe. Needs to be said here, it is an inherently risky activity, but there is a range here with risk and with recklessness. There are people who are trained in these activities. They have certifications. There are cave diving certifications. They go into these caves, right? They are doing something to provide information to people. They are mapping out uncharted areas. They are exploring. The people who actually rescue people in these caves are usually cave divers themselves. But there's also people who are going into caves and they have no training, like none, barely any experience, and improper equipment. Like, that is the state of things. Like, a lot of content you see out there actually is from people who aren't certified. It's from untrained people. I saw these guys reacted to someone who went diving at Chernobyl. They're diving with improper equipment. It's like the diving equivalent of a car being held together by duct tape. They are at Chernobyl, swimming around as if they're not gonna, like, they're going to walk out of that water with fins. You know evolution, right? Darwin. Hard to kind of not know about that, in the 2020s, but just in case you missed that, the fish slowly morphs into another creature. It gets legs. Well, they're going to develop fins. In a way, maybe that's actually a really good strategy. Because now they won't need diving equipment at all. They're gonna develop gills. They're gonna be able to breathe underwater after this. So you cannot make a video talking about this without talking about the Nutty Putty Cave incident. So there was Nutty Putty Cave in Utah. It has been closed since 2009. Lots of people used to go in there. It's called Nutty Putty Cave. Secondly, there's an area in it called the Birth Canal. Personally, my weekend plans would not consist of going through a Nutty Putty birth canal, but that's just me. But there was an incident where a guy went into Nutty Putty Cave, but he went past an area that was charted into an uncharted area, thinking that the cave was going to open up, but it just got more narrow. He got wedged in a spot that he couldn't get out of, so people went to go rescue him. They couldn't get him out, they couldn't rescue him, so he had to be sealed in the cave. They left him there. The thing with Nutty Putty Cave, this incident, I think, is the most infamous caving accident. This guy, he was married, his wife was pregnant, and he had a 1-year-old at home. I think people are so drawn to it because his life looked really promising. Then he ended up getting sealed in a cave called Nutty Putty. It's not even some boring name, or it's not even some name that conveys the seriousness of the situation. It's tragic, but it has a silly name. And aside from the cave diving and spelunking, I went down a rabbit hole of looking at other hobbies that people are doing that I would not go anywhere near. There are people who do rock climbing without any equipment. They're free solo climbers, and they climb stuff like this with no harness, nothing. There is the teeny tiny problem here, just the teeny tiny problem of if you grab a loose rock, if it breaks, you are one away from a not good situation. You know, all of this just goes to show you can live life in so many different ways, right? You're binging a show, you're doing a long play of a game, you're scrolling through social media, whatever, but you're just cozy in your bed or you're in your gaming setup. And then there's people who, their free time, they're doing activities so risky that it's almost like they think they're gonna respawn. But yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted to say for this video. What are your guys' thoughts on all of this? Would you go cave diving? Would you go spelunking? Let me know. Thanks for watching, and have a great rest of your day.